Hello there, my name is Richard. The first time seeing my channel, I used to review cartoon series, anime series, Usopping, Computer Random, and today we'll talk about a movie from Netflix called The House. Now this movie is basically an anthology series following what this house does to this kind of three simple groups of people, and how to describe the horror is sort of kind of like Courage the Cowardly Dog. If you like that type of horror, or you like that something you remember your childhood, I highly recommend to watch this because it does the same thing. This is type of horror doesn't really show gore. It's more artistic or abstract horror, depending which episode you watch, because there's three. But every anthology movie always has that one problem. Every time you have anthology, usually one is weaker than the rest, and this one does happen, but it's more like it's up to you which one you think is the weakest, because each one are very good. All three of them are well made. It's more like preference what type of horror you actually like. Now, the whole movie of the premise, you follow the sort of the house. Like all three stories are basically three different points of time. The first point of the first episode is basically about this sort of family who lives outside of town, or who basically kind of like farmers in a way, that they're okay, they're happy, they're well made, but the only problem is their family members what's what we're looking for, belittle them, especially the husband, that he feels kind of crappy because the other families doesn't like him. He feels he was not a success, he got drunk, he went outside, he doing something stupid too. Out of nowhere, this sort of strange person on appear. He asks him, do you want a house? But not just an ordinary house, a very rich, successful house. The husband looked at him, he's like, yeah, sure, why not? He's super happy, he told his wife everything have changed, now have respect, and the weird things start to happen. And this is why I made where the show started to be sort of abstract, because the whole movies, every time you see each one of the stories, they really doesn't tell you what's actually going on. You just sort of follow what the character does next. And this is the farmer and the whole family goes to like this new house, especially like the daughter asking questions like, okay, who will give us a house, especially a huge chunk of land for free? What's the deal? And you really don't know. The only thing you know is the architect likes giving people houses and buildings and recreate them. Just a perfect house for a perfect family. And the family, well, it's pretty normal. I mean, we get food, we get a good house, and we also get servants. And that's sort of weird. Like, it's sort of kind of creepy because they keep giving you stuff, and you do see the other workers acting unsettling, like something completely wrong, because it's showing a lot of red flags. But the father is just super happy with something nice for the first time, and but little by little, the father and the mother are basically being almost, like, I like to say, possessed in a certain way. They're sort of becoming part of the house, and the daughter, like the oldest daughter, like kind of trying to understand what's going on. Where the lights coming? Where's the food's coming? Do we have servants? Why do we have servants? We don't have money to pay the servants. And the only one who survived is the daughter and her baby sister, and how everything went down, because these basically barely survived on the house. Only the two kids. It is this sort of kind of creepiness. I really was sort of intrigued, because this show is more focused on kind of character study, especially the second story. The second story is sort of a more modern take of the house, because this movie doesn't explain, you just sort of assume. You see this sort of rat trying to fix the house, trying to find sellers, try to cut corners so he can save money. This is my first house, I'm gonna sell it. And you do like this character. He's kind of charming, he always trying to think on his feet, and the only problem is little things trying to fall apart. Especially you have cockroaches and little bugs. You don't know where this come from, and this rat trying to get rid of them, trying to be prepared. But little things are basically falling apart. especially he finally finished everything. He tried to sell this house to different people, and no one was really interested. You see the mouse sort of cracking, like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm panicking, but I can do this. And everybody left except for two people. This strange couple who are very odd, very unsettling, and you don't know if this is the house once more doing something horrible to the owner of the house or his hand, because how the whole second episode revealed that he's not fully there. He always talking to someone or trying to communicate, to sell, like, oh, I can do this, to call people, maybe they give him more confidence. And you find out the final episode, or at least the final of the second episode, the Ryan was especially talking to his dentist all this time, but you don't know he knew he was talking in dentist or he doesn't, calling this sort of creepy calls from the dentist, and he won't stop. But he also was thinking something else about these two strangers won't leave the house till he completely loses his mind. It's sort of weird because this second episode focuses on sort of a character study of the mouse. What would we do next, or what would you do? Because at the very end, it sort of kind of asks that question. It doesn't ask it, but it sort of shows you if the house is sort of haunted or it's just crazy people who are attracted to the house. And that's sort of interesting, especially what happened on the third episode. The third episode is sort of the future. Once more, the movie doesn't explain. It just sort of, the house sort of abandoned, it's all alone, everything's sort of filled with water because the lake broke, and now every single house fell apart, everything sank except for the house, the haunted house that has some people still living in there. And this is sort of the red lady trying to restore a glory she believed in this house could be so greater, but at the same time you don't know what exactly what's going on. And I think this is why the episodes are basically 30 minutes long each one, to sort of understand sort of what they're actually going on, the situation. And you found this cat lady who is a rent person who goes to tenant to tenant to get money. With the conversation you understand, oh yeah, this was the whole street was sort of drowned by water, and none of the tenants are actually helping. In fact, the tenants want to leave, but the red lady doesn't want to because she believes this house can be saved. But I love it, all three of them sort of fall into sort of a question, like, is sort of worth saving this house, worth being luxuried? Because very end, this house is sort of pointless. But all of it is sort of abstract, sort of horror point of view that you really don't understand. Because the third one, you don't know if the house still is haunted or it's just the persons who live there. Especially about the rat lady, the cat lady who tried to save it. And I love it, her sort of tenant slash friends and the only two there trying to kind of convince her this is sort of pointless and no. And she's sort of obsessed with it because she's sort of obsessed with the past, like everything was great, everything was amazing, but she doesn't see the present. And that is interesting because you see her sort of struggling to be happy, fix the house, and not realizing you have to sort of let go, you have to be free in the house. But I love it sort of how it ends, because the third episode was sort of kind of happy, because sometimes good horror, you don't need a sad ending or a happy ending. You just need a sort of a good conclusion, something that feels right. And I love that third episode because it does feel right. You feel directly understood what happened, we understood the situation, and she feels completely free on the very end. I love it that they did sort of like a metaphor in the house, like the house became sort of kind of like a boat. It's sort of weird. It's sort of weird. Both one of the renters or slash friends built the house as a boat. If you've seen this movie, you know what I mean. But I love it. It's sort of kind of like a metaphor for freedom, finally understanding, letting go. I mean, the house will fall down. Just have fun with it. Now, something is super gorgeous is sort of the claymation. Yeah, I always enjoyed that. The claymation always felt like horror. Usually people who make claymation trying to avoid it and all possible, make it happy and cheerful. But I love it more that people do understand the clay could be sort of horror. You love this movie, went to that direction. Yeah, I just enjoyed how the claymation is just so great. Now, I hope it never make a sequel because this movie is just sort of special because horror claymation is sort of kind of rare. I mean, you do have some, but not all the claymation want to be horror. I feel that's sort of sad because claymation could be great for horror, for everything. Just a few times you actually see it, or actually not a few, it's more like very rare. Yeah, this one is one of those special rare times that I highly recommend, especially if you like horror. Now, I got anything else to say? No, this movie was great. The only maybe one thing is probably you probably don't like one out of the three. That's usually what happens. But other than that, I feel each one of them are great. It's just sort of would be more which is your favorite or which in your flavor, which one you just enjoy. That's what you like the most. And that's it. I mean, doesn't have to be gore. No. Once more, is this a sort of Courage Cody Dog kind of level, artistic kind of horror? Yeah, I enjoy it. Now, do you see the movie? Do you like it? Do you hate it? You think you do better? Which are your favorite parts? Tell me down below. Let me know. I really got nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.